Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break the keys, spread your toxicity. Your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane. Living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Life's telling you, don't waste it on me.
Welcome to the Throttle Up Racing Network, and it's Wednesday night. That means it's time for the Rebel Racing League. Tonight we're at Las Vegas. This is the last race of the regular season, so we'll have to see who gets in and who is racing for nothing next week. Alongside me in the booth, Kyle Quintrell. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you today?
Doing great, doing great. Hopefully we're going to see some good action tonight.
Yeah, Vegas is usually really fun and exciting, so looking forward to it.
Also with us tonight, our pit road reporter, Jamie Dunning. How you doing?
Doing great. Dakota, how are you tonight, sir?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. We'll have to keep track of all the different pit strategies. That'd be hard to do, but I think you're up to the task.
I'm always up for the challenge.
Well, Jamie, me and you have been watching this league Kyle's new to the booth. He's learning. He's going to join Throttle Up Racing Networks very soon on his own. So, but Jamie, who do you think we're going to see up here tonight? We got Chris Pendle up at the top of the board. We're going to see Pendle, Spees, Matson, McCarthy. Who's going to be up here winning this race?
I'm going to have to go with Kyle Spees. He's always really fast in these mile-and-a-half tracks, and he somehow always pulls it out of his behind when he falls in the back. So I'm sure we're going to see that happen once again. He's going to get loose out of the corner, go to the back, and work his way up and win it.
Yeah, it's usually Spees and the other guy that's usually up there, Dustin Matson. And I think he's going to be my pick tonight. And that's the reason is because last week he led so much of that race at Nashville, and then right at the end gets sideways and drops to the back and didn't have a great finish last week. I think he's hungry. I think this week he's going to get up there and get that second win of the season and top Kyle Spees.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dustin Matson's always towards the front of these races. He's always staying out of trouble, but somehow, some way, he always just finds his way towards the back when it comes to the last stage. And it's unfortunate for him as he's a really, really good and fast driver at these mile-and-a-half tracks.
Yeah, so tonight we look at the point standings. Currently first, Kyle Spees. Caleb McCarthy up there in second. Christopher Lawrence, he's in third. Simon Grills, Dustin Matson, Jeffrey Vickery, Kyle Gartner, Christopher Reese, Josh Anderson, and Brent Hunsucker all in the top 10. All these drivers are locked into the field mathematically. As we go through, Sean Donald in 11th. Chris Pendle up there. Brian Cloyd, James Jones. And where we're looking tonight is between Shane Ledoux, Stephen Ford, Brett Wilson, and Cody Bullock as to who's going to get the final couple of spots. Currently, Stephen Ford is in, and Brett Wilson and Cody Bullock just sitting outside looking in. They'll need some stage points to get back into this one. And looking at the schedule, tonight's race is 140 laps. Stages will be on lap 35 and lap 70. So those drivers we mentioned earlier will have to be up in those, getting those stage points. Shane Ledoux, Stephen Ford, Brett Wilson, Cody Bullock. That's who we're going to be watching tonight as we go forward, along with who's up there racing for the win.
Well, I certainly came in at a very fascinating time as we have a playoff battle on our hands to see who gets that last spot, and three drivers separated by 14 points there at the cutoff, and last race before the playoff start. Certainly going to be exciting and something to keep track of all day.
Yeah, well, the names to know that are usually up in the front. Chris Pendle, of course, he's right now our fastest. Jeffrey Vickery, he's been good as well. He's sitting there in the pits. James Jones, pretty good. He's there in third quickest right now. Kyle Spees, our point leader, multiple race winner, always fast everywhere we go. Dustin Matson as well. Those two battle out quite a bit every week. Kayla McCarthy, extremely consistent. She gets up there in the top 5 almost every race. Garrett Fox, he may be one to watch. Of course, we didn't mention him in the points. That's because last week was his first start in this league. And guess what, Kyle? Garrett Fox, in his first start, come away with a win.
Seems to happen more times than not when you get a brand new driver that nobody knows, the broadcast doesn't know. Then all of a sudden he's in victory lane and you get to figure out what he's all about.
Yeah, and then we get to talk to him and see how he did all that. So here on screen, that's Shane Ledoux. He's one that we'll be watching for the points. Currently in. Cody Bullock there in the number 18. He's another one that we will be watching as the night goes forward. And just in front of him, Stephen Ford. And right there's the number 10 of Brett Wilson. So these four are fighting for 2 playoff spots. And that's who we're going to be watching as we go through this race.
Yeah, right now Brett Wilson has the fastest lap of all those guys, and he joined this practice session a little bit late. So showing some speed right off the bat, and we're just about winding down this practice session here, and it's the checkered flag flies for the practice session. And but he's showing the most speed, with not as much practice. So we'll see if he can upset these guys and make it into the playoffs.
He is certainly one to watch. He missed last week. He was in. Currently, he's sitting out by about 9 points. But certainly one that could race his way in. For Lawrence, he's sitting on the end of pit road. Kyle Gardner, he's out. Rolling around the track right now.
One of the drivers we're watching, and Cody Bullock, has left pit road, and he is starting his lap. Coming through turn 4 right now to take the green.
He's out there along with Brett Wilson. He is out there as well. In the number 10, threat level Midnight Chevrolet. Let's see which one of these guys qualifies higher.
The 18
Cody Bullock comes across the line.
He has a 30.888 on lap number 1, and he ran the middle of the track on both sides of the racetrack. So, and it looks like Brett Wilson's running a little bit lower line.
Gartner right now with the fast time. McCarthy's slow on her first lap. Brett Wilson now across the line. Wilson will be just in front of Bullock now in third.
But Bullock picks up on lap number 2 to a 30.369. See if Brett Wilson can match that on his second lap.
We see Wilson now coming around. Coming to the stripe, Brett Wilson. He picks up now to third. He's just in front of Bullock. Those two close on speed. Now Chris Pendle out there. He was fastest in practice. He only runs 7th on his first lap.
Yeah, down in
The
the
pole sitter, that's Josh Anderson.
Pendle is down in the 29-second bracket when in practice. So see if he picks up here as he crosses the start-finish line.
Third quickest.
Track definitely seems to be a little bit slower than it was in practice right now, as everyone is falling off their pace just a little bit.
Dustin Matson now on track. He's running the high line, trying to get some momentum built up.
Pretty nice line there through 1 and 2 for Matson. Was able to just be off that white line, but it seemed like it gripped and held on for him. And 3 and 4 is a little bit easier end of a racetrack to get through on your fast lap, but it can snap loose on you in a hurry off of 4 if you're not careful. But he follows it up to the wall and comes to the start-finish line there. And he goes 5th quickest at a 30.214.
Yeah, we didn't see him out there, but Chris Reese almost knocked Anderson off the pole. 0.01 the difference. Shane Ledoux takes his time. He's 14th quickest. About 5 spots behind Cody Bullock.
Cody Bullock is still hanging on to the back bumper of Brett Wilson here, as they're currently sitting 7th and 9th respectively, with Brett 2 positions ahead, but certainly can make that up on the racetrack.
They'll be starting front to back right now. Now Jeffrey Vickery gets up there and qualifies in between them. Puts another car a little bit of distance now for Brett Wilson on the start.
See if Vickery can pick it up here on lap number 2, as he is coming through 3 and 4 to finish his qualifying lap. And he will. He goes to P2 on the board with a 30.140.
Great job for Jeffrey Vickery. Sean Donald, he comes around. He's going to finish his second lap. Currently 16th. Sean Donald will move up to 6th. Got Kyle Spees and Christopher Lawrence on track now, trying to make their first time laps. Spees running the high line. Lawrence working his way to the bottom.
The guy currently in the final playoff spot right now has not recorded a time yet. Still 4 minutes remaining in qualifying, but he's one of 3 drivers not recorded time.
Lawrence on his second lap. Lawrence moves up to 8th quickest. Spees is 14th on his first lap. He's running the middle lane as well, staying with his left tires on that first seam. Goes a little deeper into 3 and 4. Spees comes across the line. New pole sitter Kyle Spees.
Great lap there from Spees, and now final guy to take time in qualifying is Stephen Ford, your current bubble boy in the playoffs, and he is on track, heading into 3 and 4, about to complete his first time lap.
Shane Tierney, he'll end up 14th unless Stephen Ford qualifies ahead of him.
Ford is 22nd on lap number 1, so we'll see if he can pick it up here. Had a slight bobble in 1 and 2 on that first lap.
Stephen Ford comes across the line. Let's see where he moves up to. Up to 10th, quite a bit quicker. That'll put him first, I believe, of the bubble cars.
2 positions ahead of Brett Wilson and 2 more positions ahead of Cody Bullock. And so those 2 sprint going to be starting nose to tail and nose to tail on the outside lane right on this start. So definitely going to keep an eye on the 3 playoff drivers.
And Shane Ledoux as well. He's back there in 20th. But they're all between 10th and 20th right now. So that is every driver has qualified. 26 drivers in this race tonight. We'll see if we can get a word from Kyle Spees. Hey, Kyle, this is Dakota, and Kyle and Jamie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you're very fast tonight. We have come to expect a number 1 next to your name every time you go out there. So what can you do throughout this race at Las Vegas to end up in first place?
Try to save as tire as I can. I know that probably sounds crazy, but even at a mile and a half track like this, we're gonna be going fast. But if you can try to save tire while going fast, you end up being pretty good here on the long runs. Qualified up here at top. I want to try to get 2 good finishes with the stages, knowing where I sit in points. Hopefully that just keeps me good to the end, and then I'll just try to float to the end. I'm not trying to win tonight. I know where I sit for the regular season, so I know if I just finish, I think I'm going to end up pretty good here, and that's where I'm trying to go tonight.
Who do you think's your stiffest competition out there tonight?
I'll take it a couple guys. I think this Matson, like always, he's back there in 8th, but I know he knows how to drive and come back up to the front. I got Lawrence as a teammate. I know he'll be up here. The other sneaky one is Kyle. He might be there in 5th, but I know he can drive as well. He'll be up here by the end, I think.
All right. Well, thank you, Kyle. Good luck and congratulations on the pole.
I appreciate it.
We are getting set for 140 laps here at Las Vegas with stage breaks at lap 35 and lap 70. And they are starting to grid on the racetrack right now.
And from the pole, we've got the man we just talked to. Kyle Spees, our pole sitter. Rolling off 2nd spot, that's Josh Anderson in the number 7. 3rd place, Jeffrey Vickery in the 21. Starting 4th, that's Chris Reese. 5th place, Kyle Gardner. 6th is Christopher Pendle. 7th is Sean Donald. 8th place, Dustin Matson. 9th is Christopher Lawrence. And 10th is Stephen Ford.
In 11th place, we'll have Simon Grills in the 16, and then Brett Wilson, one of our ones to watch in this race, in the number 10 and starting in 12th position. Garrett Fox in the 85 will start 13th, with Cody Bullock in the number 18 starting 14th, another one that we'll be watching. Shane Tierney in the number 19 will start 15th, with Mike Harper in the number 4 and 16th. Kayla McCarthy in the number 24 will start 17th. Chris Malcolm in the 41 will start 18th. Kerry Moore will start 19th in the number 84. Shane Ledoux, another one of our playoff drivers, will start from the 20th position in the number 12. Mike Robinson in the number 20 will start 21st. Bud Barnes will start 22nd in the number 83. Brent Hunsucker will start 23rd in the number 69. Jason Arbel in the number 86 will start 24th. James Jones in the number 13 will start 25th. And rounding out your field is Vernon Reese in the number 99 starting 26th.
As we roll around, we get ready to go green. Kyle Spees, he's going to be taking us off and diving us down into turn number 1 as soon as that pace car dives off. These guys using the brand new iRacing pace car. He dips off. And it's green flag for Kyle Spees. Jeffrey Vickery, he moves up around Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson on the outside, starting to slip back a little bit. Already got a caution.
Number 24 was in the middle of 3 wide, and he got hooked and hit the outside wall pretty hard there. That's Kayla McCartney.
Let's see what happens to Kayla. Looks like the 19 and the 24 come together. 24, she'll go hard into the outside wall, gets clipped by the 4. Actually, not too hard into the outside wall. Well, a little bit. Looks like the 4 may have gotten the outside wall a little harder than the 24, and overall the 4 may have gotten more damage. So I'm sure she'll ride around for a while before taking her faster pair.
83 of Bud Barnes got a pretty decent piece of that as well. couldn't quite tell there if she just got loose getting down into the corner and, just kind of had to chase it down the track, or if there was contact before she got loose. But the result is the same, and it's a damaged race car.
Yeah, I think they were both going into turn one, but they turned in at two different rates, and the 24 and the 19 clip each other.
Four car, Mike Harper there, just kind of the innocent bystander, up high with nowhere to go.
We have any takers on pit road, Jamie?
Oh yeah, everybody that was involved in that incident has went in and pitted, and I believe the 24 of Kayla McCarthy did use her fast repair there, and she's already on her way out of the pits.
Well, that's a big development. Kayla McCarthy using that fast repair early in this one.
You had
Barnes, Malcolm, Harper, and Ledoux all in the pits as well.
As you guys stated, the number 4 of Mike Harper had heavy front end damage, and he is on his way out of the pits right now, still missing a good chunk of his front end as he exits pits road.
And the nose gone off number 4, but Shane Ledoux, I mean, in the pits for a long time, and he's one that we were watching for that playoff bubble.
Yeah, I didn't see him get any part of that, but obviously some repairs to get done if he's on pit road on the after one lap, so must have had some involvement in that. We'll see how his day develops.
Yeah, he's missing a hood, so let's go back and try and take one more look. He's up on the outside, and he was coming down the 4, clips the 12 on the way through. Left him with no hood, a tore up race car. And he did everything he could to avoid that, but the 4, after he hit the outside wall so hard, bounces down hard into the side of the 12.
I saw that originally, but that didn't seem like a hard enough hit to cause that much damage, but must have just hit him in the right spot. And unfortunate start to the day for Shane Ledoux, who only had a 2-point buffer over Stephen Ford and only 11 points over Brett Wilson to get knocked out.
So we'll have to see how well Shane Ledoux can recover. Stephen Ford sitting 10th right now, poised to get a stage point if he can stay up there.
Are side by side and come to the green flag.
Kyle Spees, he gets the jump. Leader takes the restart. Kyle Spees heads off. This time Josh Anderson on the inside of Vickery trying to get that second position back. They're side by side. Chris Reese, he's looking quick. He's up to 4th. Trying to throw a little slide job on the 94 of Christopher Pendle. Pendle now to the bottom of Chris Reese. This is the battle for 4th place. Pendle looking very quick. 21 gets a little bit loose.
The 11 car is up into the wall hard on the backstretch, trying to save it, just holding it up against the wall. Looks like everybody's going to get by and we're going to stay green, but the 85 has some big damage to its back bumper, and the 16 has quite a bit of damage to his front bumper, so they got into it.
And quite a few damaged race cars, and that's right around Brett Wilson there in the 10 and the Stephen Ford in the 27. Two of our guys battling for the playoff spots, and they avoid a close one there. Brett Wilson now up to 9th.
Stephen Ford in the 27 checked up majorly to stay off of that incident. Went down the backstretch last time, and it cost him about 4 spots, but still a clean race car.
That's what matters early in this race, keeping your race car clean. It's a long race. We'll have to see if he can get back up, maybe get a stage point. See Mike Robinson with a big dive down into the corner around Cody Bullock. Now sideways. Mike Robinson, a good save. But he'll drop back a couple spots.
27 thought about taking it 3 wide there, but then thought better of it as he is behind 2 damaged race cars with the 18 breathing down his neck. Right on the back bumper of the 16 as they head down in 3 and 4, and the 18 is going to take a look on the inside of the 27.
The 16 and the 18, those guys are teammates. The 16 maybe holding up the 27 a little bit, allowing the 18 to go by. Cody Bullock now to the bottom, and Ford stuck on the outside with nowhere to go, stuck behind Simon Grills in the 16. He'll now dip down to the bottom.
Bullock now around the 16, and Ford trying his best to get it done. He's on the bottom now, so probably he'll get it done this lap, but the outside can hang tough here.
Yeah, Vegas turn 1 and 2 has got some big bumps. You see the 18 sideways, now the 27. He's down on the apron, both those cars sideways, but the 27, even though he got loose, the 18 gets a little bit looser, and he slows down this big gaggle of cars, and the 27 will now get around all of them.
Even with all this great action here, our top 3 are still under a blanket. It's hard to get separation here as the draft plays a pretty big factor at this racetrack.
Yeah, Josh Anderson, he just moved into the top 10 in points last week. He's trying to get a few more spots. Now putting pressure on Kyle Spees for the lead. Only a tenth separates the top 2. 3 tenths separates the top 3.
Fifth place has fallen about 2.5 seconds back, but there is still another group of cars right around there, and that's kind of what happens at this racetrack is you get these nice little bubbles of cars, 4 or 5 cars all in a group that race each other hard. Then once you kind of become the lead car of that, you can maybe break out and catch that next bubble and make a few passes there if you have a fast car, but that's what's fun about Vegas is you don't get very far away from another driver here.
I see Matson now up to the 5th spot around Lawrence. Speed said he was saving his tires, but so far he's led every lap.
It'll be interesting to see how he is on the long run here, because usually if you're that car leading, you use more tires than the guys behind you. Just for the fact that you can draft down the straightaway, so you can take it a little easier in the corner and just kind of maintain and ride there in 2nd place for Anderson. So he may be saving more tires than Spees at this point, but those top 3 have broken away, and I think they're just kind of riding it out right now. But back in the pack a little bit, Stephen Ford and Cody Bullock are still battling it out nose to tail, and I don't think they're going to get very far away from each other in this one.
No, and this is the battle for a playoff position. 18 now to the inside of the 27. And they're both looking at Garrett Fox. They're going to split him 3 wide now. 27 of Ford stuck on the outside. The 85 dips down low, but now he's 3 wide with a 19 on the bottom.
See if they can make 3 wide work here in 1 and 2. Definitely 3 grooves here. You just all got to hold your line, and the 27 on the top of that. Got to be nervous right now, but he's going to come out ahead of the 85 of Garrett Fox there down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he got a big run off the corner running that high line. Now he's right to the bumper of the 18. He's going to look to run the high line again. through 1 and 2. Now trying to look to the outside of the 18 as they're closing in on that turn number 1. Ford on the outside trying to poke a nose in. Can he get there on the outside of the 18? 27 now touches the wall. McCarthy has to avoid him. A big wreck behind the 19 and the 16. 19 almost flipped.
It's going to be Shane Tierney in the 19, and looks like he tried to go up to the wall, but there's a car on the outside of him right there, and definitely had a couple tires off the ground.
Hunsucker involved as well. Yeah, he hits the inside wall pretty hard. Let's take a look at the 19 and the 16 and see what happened. Oh, that may have been net code.
Yeah, they didn't actually touch there, but 16 kind of got a little bit loose, saved it in time, but the 19 got the net code part of it there.
Yeah, they were still about a foot apart. Go ahead, Jamie.
It looks like we're going to have some takers on pit road. Seen a couple cars go down. Let me find out who they are real quick. Got 20 of Mike Robinson, the 41 of Chris Malcolm, the 94 of Christopher Pendle, who was running up in the front. See if he takes some Ford fresh tires to see if he can get past Kyle Spees and those guys, or is he just going to do a splash and go?
It looks like he may have hit the outside wall. Looks like a little bit of damage to the outside, to the right side of the 94.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, that's what it looks like he's doing. It's just fixing some damage up on his cars. He's still sitting in pit lane at this time. You got the 11 of Shaw Donald, 16 of Simon Grills, 19 of Sean Tierney, 20 of Mike Robinson, and the 69 of Brett Hunsucker, all on pit road as of now.
The 94 of Christopher Pendle did have his chat disabled for a second, so I'm assuming he probably got tangled up with somebody and wasn't too happy, but he comes down and gets some repairs, and he had a fast car early on.
Yeah, he'll come back out after coming through the blend line. He is 20th now and was running up near the front. That'll move Brett Wilson now into 8th, as we've got about 14 laps left in the stage. Cody Bullock, he's 9th. And Stephen Ford, he's sitting 11th. Shane Ledoux back up into the 18th position, still with no hood.
Track where your tires will just kind of fall off a cliff all of a sudden, and so you know these guys that stayed out, that was about a 15 lap green flag run, and that's going to wear those tires out some. So if these guys up front kind of fall off that cliff, the guys that just took tires may steal some stage points here.
And that may be the case. They need as many points as they can get, especially Cody Bullock, as he's about 14 points out right now. Kyle Spees still out there holding the lead. Anderson currently 2nd. Then number 7, Jeffrey Vickery 3rd. Chris Reese having a good race. He's currently 4th place. Dustin Matson, he is running in 5th. Christopher Lawrence in 6th. Kyle Gartner is running in 7th. Brett Wilson 8th. 9th is Garrett Fox, and Cody Bullock is currently rounding out the top 10. in the 10th position. Currently, we got three big movers. Jason Arbel in the 86 is up 10 spots. James Jones up 10 spots. And Vernon Reese, all three up 10 positions since we started. Those three on the move through the field.
Currently, we have Stephen Ford, who is on the bubble, who was on the bubble coming in, sitting in the 11th spot. But Shane Ledoux, the guy that struggled so far in this race, currently sitting 18th, and as of right now, he would be out of the playoffs if they were to finish this way.
As we come around, 13 laps left in the stage. Kyle Spees gets the green flag, and he takes off. Gets a big jump over Josh Anderson and Jeffrey Vickery. As now Matson sees an opportunity to move forward. He's already around Reese, now looking to the inside of Jeffrey Vickery for the 3rd position. There goes Matson down to the bottom. He's going to try and clear the 21 of Vickery. Vickery gets a good run off the corner now, door to door, to come across the line.
The guys up front are starting to settle it out. It's just 2 wide battle there for 3rd, but it looks like the 6 is going to fall into line there, and we kind of get things straightened out at the front. But one person to note is Caleb McCartney, who was involved in that first accident, all the way up to 9th already and marching forward.
Yeah, she is on the move now, up into the top 10, trying to get some more stage points. She's 2nd in the points. Going to be difficult to catch Spees to be the regular season champion. Garrett Fox, he's now 10th, and Cody Bullock is 11th. So Bullock and Ford and Ledoux, all three out right now of stage points for stage 1. But Brett Wilson, he's up to 7th and now battling Chris Reese for 6th. And he's looking for stage points, trying to get his way into the playoffs. Pressing the 62 as they come around, thinking about looking to the outside.
Just 8 laps to go till we pay points for the stage, and a couple guys right on the outside looking in this playoff battle. Certainly going to be aggressive here, trying to get some stage points, but don't want to be too aggressive and have it cost you some damage and possibly cost you your race. But Brett Wilson has certainly looked the strongest out of our playoff competitors, and he is working over Christopher Reese right now, trying to get up to the 6th spot.
And Wilson only 9 points out. Once they come in, he could finish there. He'd gain 4 spots, 4 points, and only be about 5 points out. Now Lawrence pressuring Matson, that for the 4th spot. Matson hasn't been able to get around Vickery. Cody Bullock, he's back up into the top 10. That should get him 1 stage point. We've got 2 guys racing hard back there. That's Vernon Reese, and Mike Robinson was beating and banging down the back stretch.
And them is Christopher Pendle in that 94, not able to move forward at all since his restart, so probably still has some damage, and kind of looks like he's struggling with that race car, but about 6 cars under a blanket right in front of him. and those guys are all battling hard. At the front of that is the number 27 of Stephen Ford, as he's falling back into the clutches of Vernon Reese right now.
And Stephen Ford, you know, he comes into this race only 9 points to the good, and he may be thinking he just needs to run a clean race, but with Wilson moving up, of course, now he's dropped back a couple spots, and now he's in 9th. But if Wilson keeps getting stage points, that's going to make this night a lot harder on Stephen Ford as we go forward.
Stephen Ford probably not going to score stage points in this first stage. It's going to be hard to make up 5 positions in 4 laps, but so he's just got to make sure that he keeps it clean right here, and you know, then tries to capitalize on stage 2. But in 9th and 10th right now, you have Brett Wilson and Cody Bullock, who are looking like they're both going to score stage points, but certainly not over yet.
Yeah, you see Hunsucker coming up. He was involved in an incident earlier and hit the inside wall. He's driven all the way back through, and he may steal a stage point from Cody Bullock and Brett Wilson. We've got 2 laps left in the first stage. Right on the bumper, the 18. Now he gets loose. Can he save it? He's sideways. Smoke coming out. He is able to save it, but he'll drop back a couple spots.
The door for Mike Robinson to get on the outside of Cody Bullock, though. So Cody trying to hang on to that 10th and final stage point, but he's going to get passed right there and fall back to 11th for the time being. See if he can make a charge back at it on the final lap of the stage.
Robinson around into the 10th spot. Now working on Wilson for 9th. Down to the bottom as they get the white flag for the stage.
I would definitely assume that Mike Robinson in the 20 has fresh tires right now, as he is just way faster in the corners than those around him. So Brett Wilson and Cody Bullock just trying to hang on right now. It looks like Brett Wilson might be able to get 1 stage point out of this, but up at the front, Kyle Spees pulled ahead by 1.2 seconds, and he is going to win stage number 1 with just Dustin Matson finishing 2nd, Jeffrey Victory in 3rd.
Yeah, we'll wait for that caution. It should be coming around once 10th place crosses the line, but Kyle Speed's going to be stage 1 winner. And there it is. That'll be the end of the stage. Kyle Spees will win the stage. Dustin Matson 2nd, Vickery 3rd, Lawrence in 4th, Anderson 5th, Chris Reese 6th, Gartner in 7th, Kayla McCarthy 8th, Mike Robinson 9th, and Brett Wilson in 10th. Going to be the only one of our playoff drivers, or our bubble drivers, that gets a stage point. That'll put him 8 points now behind Ford. All right, Jamie, how many guys you think's going to come down the pits this time?
I'm going to say pretty much all of them. They'll be all coming down getting some fresh Goodyears on their car, and hopefully they can have the green flag run like they did the last time and keep it that way throughout this whole entire race.
And here they come, Jamie, all of them coming down. Let's see if anybody stays out.
Absolutely nobody stays out, so they'll all be on fresh ground here as we get stage 2 started.
All right, you tell us what you're seeing there, Jamie.
It looks, from everybody that I can see from the end of pit road, as everybody's going to get 4 fresh Goodyears here. I'm going to switch over to see who comes off pit lane first. It looks like you had the 36, the 6, the 9, all coming out nearly at the same time. So it looks like Kyle Spees, Dustin Matson, and Christopher Lawrence are going to be your first 3 drivers off pit lane. As the rest of them are coming off the pit lane as we speak.
And looks like Josh Anderson may have dropped a couple spots in the pits. He was up there, qualified second, was running up second or third. And he comes out of the pits in 5th spot. Kayla McCarthy, she comes out in 7th. So Robinson and Hunsucker may have taken tires there, but they come back down and take tires again, or at least take fuel. But I'd say they took tires coming out at the exact right time to keep their position.
Yeah, I believe that the 24, Kayla McCarthy, also took tires. She really flew up through the field there, and definitely a good move there from those guys in the back to take tires and get some track position. Maybe something that Shane Ledoux should have done with how he's struggling back there in about the 15th, 16th spot.
Yeah, Ledoux still sitting back there in 16th position. No hood, quite a bit of front damage, but may not have some engine damage. I mean, I'm not real sure. That was it didn't look to be that big of a hit. I wasn't expecting to see his hood gone. But quite a bit of cosmetic damage for sure for Ledoux.
Yeah,
Cody Bullock, he sits in the 13th spot, just outside of the top 10, so he's going to have to make moves to get back into the top 10 here.
Sitting in the 10 is sitting 10th right now. He came in pit road 10th, and he currently sits 10th, so no positions gained or lost, and 1 stage point for him. So now just 8 points back of Stephen Ford and 10 points back of Shane Ledoux for him. So he's going to be looking to gain a few more stage points in stage 2 here and narrow that gap a little bit more.
Yeah, and Stephen Ford, I mean, he's all the way back in 24th position. So, he comes into this race on the cut line, and we'll have to see, if he can find some speed as this race goes along, because he's sitting 24th. And I'm going to say he's going to need a top 10 or a top 12 to maintain, depending upon how well Wilson and Bullock do here in the second stage.
Yeah, Stephen Ford did get into the wall a couple of times that I saw in the backstretch, so he was probably fixing some damage there on that caution while he took some tires, just get it out of the way and try to drive his way back up through the field now. So both of our final 2 that were in starting this race have had damage and had to get some repairs, so some adversity early for both the 27 and the 12, and we'll see if they can rebound.
Yeah, the car that's been the fastest of the bubble drivers is Brett Wilson. So we'll have to see if he can he's going to need more than 1 stage point. He really needs about 3 or 4 or 5 here to make this a little bit easier of a run on the final stage. The pace car is off and getting ready to go off. Kyle Spees, still your leader, so far has led every lap. He'll take us to green flag for Kyle Spees, and he just has a huge jump over Dustin Matson. Lawrence now looking the bottom of Matson. Matson was down on that bottom earlier, but the cars on the outside prevail. Let's see if Matson can prevail over the 9. No, the 9 slides up in front of the 6, but a crossover now by Matson, and he gets to the inside of the 9, down into 3 and 4. So Matson back to second spot. He's going to try and reel in Kyle Spees. Josh Anderson, he makes moves now back into the 4th spot, battling the 21 for that 4th spot. And the 7 now sideways. He does a great job of saving it. But Brett Wilson, he's on the move now up to 7th. He follows Caleb McCarthy past the number 7 of Josh Anderson, and Anderson will fall all the way back to 11th.
A 10 car of Brett Wilson seems to have a lot of speed on the short run and passes some guys early, but he fell off at the end of that first stage and lost quite a few positions. So we'll see if he can hold that speed for this entire stage.
We are looking for lap 70 to end the second stage. Kyle Spees now out to a 0.6 of a second lead over Dustin Matson in second. Lawrence right there in third. Vickery and Gartner in fourth and fifth.
Cody
McCarthy, she's up 6 spots.
7 just got loose off of turn number 2 once again, but able to save it a second time, but lost a lot of positions. And Cody Bullock in the 18 took full advantage of the first time he got loose, as he's all the way up to 9th, and he made a daring 3-wide move on that first incident for the 7 to gain a couple of spots there, and it paid off.
Yeah, Anderson, he's struggling now all the way back to 26th, and restarted in 5th and moved up to 4th on this run, but now he's slid all the way back. I mean, literally slid all the way back to 26th. So we'll have to see how far Anderson can come back up through the field.
And here at Las Vegas, when you're loose off the corner like that, sometimes you just have to go run that high line, and that'll help that car tighten up off the corner and give you better runs. But both times he got loose and had to save it, he was running the bottom there, so he may have to move up the racetrack in 1 and 2.
Yeah, those big bumps down in the bottom, they really get the car upset and off balance, especially, like I said, through 1 and 2. It's hard to run that bottom line. A lot of guys will run right on the seam. You see these guys running right around that seam. That bottom lane, it's hard to run here at Las Vegas. As we're watching Cody Bullock, he's now on the tail of Kyle Gartner, that for the 7th position. He's in 8th. And Brett Wilson, he's up to 6th now.
Yeah, both those guys kind of marching up through, and Wilson not able to get too far away from Bullock, but Wilson has a slight advantage over Bullock in the point, so he doesn't really mind as long as he's behind him. But all the way back in the pack in the 18th position is Stephen Ford. He's slowly starting to make the drive up, and we got one around on the backstretch.
It looks like the
83 was involved in it,
84.
but there was the 84. Kerry Moore is the one that went around.
See what happens to the 84. Like he gets up into the outside wall and goes sideways. And he does come down and clips the 83 very hard. Spins the 84 back around. The 83 does a good job of saving it, looks like. All the way down onto the apron. 84 spins all the way around. He locks it up.
You get a really good shot of it there, but Vegas, so much room to save the race car here with no grass anywhere around this racetrack besides, down in the infield. But the entire backstretch, the entire corners are all paved all the way down to the wall. That makes a huge difference when you're trying to save a race car. And I almost kind of wish all tracks would become that way, just because it stinks to have your day ruined because you get down in the grass.
Yeah, difficult to save once you get down in that grass, very slippery. But yeah, big areas of asphalt to save the car. And Josh Anderson trying to make his way back up through the field, only gotten around 1 car so far, and 2 if you count the 84 of Moore. Now trying to pick off a couple more. Shane Ledoux, really struggling right now in 22nd. Now 23rd as the 99 goes around.
Towards the front, Cody Bullock has actually got around Brett Wilson and Kyle Gartner up to the 6th position. Brett Wilson back to 8th. So Wilson's starting to fall off on the pace a little bit as this run goes on, but Bullock looking strong.
We've still got 18 laps left in the stage, but 4 points would be a big deal. 5 points would be a big deal for Cody Bullock. He currently sits 14 behind Ford at the cutoff line, and 5 points would put him 1 point behind Wilson if Wilson drops out of the top 10.
This race certainly getting all the makings of a great finish. Not only up front, as the top 4 is still separated by only a second right now, but also in the points battle to see who makes this playoffs. And this is a track where you just don't really get a whole lot of separation, and you know those leaders are all stay together for most of the race.
Well, I got to tell you, Kyle, you wasn't here last week to see it, but this is a far contrast from last week, because the 18 of Cody Bullock tags the wall a little bit, but continues on. Last week, 30 cautions, 145 of 200 laps were run under caution. And it's good to see this week a lot of green flag runs, long green flag runs so far in this race at Las Vegas, and we love to see it. We love to see these guys get to race, as we're seeing Matson and Lawrence now battle for the second spot.
Kind of like to consider Nashville as the super speedway that was on short track drugs, and because you know it has, it's, you know, what, a mile, 1.2 miles around Nashville, I believe, and but it races like a short track, and you know it's full fenders out racing when you're there in Nashville. But these guys doing a great job racing around each other pretty tight, but keeping it off each other and putting on a great show for us.
Yeah, Nashville Super Speedway is 1.2 miles. Nashville Fairgrounds was where we was at last week. It's just over a half mile. It was tight quarters, and it was very loose setups last week. A lot of cars coming off the corner sideways and going around. Even Dustin Matson at one point went around late in the race, and it was sad, you know, to see that happen to Dustin as he was running up front the whole race, and the 85 using pit strategy to get out front and just continually be the leader on those restarts, and only having about 1 or 2 laps of green. That really that won the 85 of Garrett Fox the race last week. And Garrett Fox currently sitting in 13th position.
Definitely sounds like it was a heck of a show, but I've been watching the 18 of Cody Bullock since he got into the wall, and it has definitely affected him. He's fallen back to 8th. There's quite a bit of damage on the right side of his car, and he is under fire from 2 more. So that contact with the wall might have really cost Cody a chance at some stage points here in stage number 2, as we just have 12 laps to go until that stage is finished.
Yeah, and Hunsucker dives to the bottom, but he gets a little bit tight and has to check up to not hit the side of the 18. Hunsucker now pressuring again the 18 of Cody Bullock, as well as Chris Reese. They're in 10th.
Now Hunsucker to the outside of the 18 of Bullock, and Christopher Reese going to follow him straight on through, it looks like. So move him back to move the 18 back to 10th.
Well, Chris Reese, he was headed to the outside, but the 18 kind of slipped up in front of him. Give a little block down the back stretch, but he's going to have to block for 10 more laps to try and get a 2 stage points. Christopher Reese now down to the bottom. Now he'll go onto the inside, side by side. And Reese will clear the 18 down into turn number 3. The 18 sent it in hard. but going to lose some ground. Now about 3 car lengths behind the 62. And now he's sitting there in 10th trying to hold off James Jones, who's now in 11th for that 10th spot in the final stage point.
Looking at how that 18 car is reacting, I just don't know that he is going to be able to hold him off. That wall contact definitely hurt.
Yeah, and he looks like he's loose, kind of sliding around. May have wore out those that right rear tire trying to drive his way through the field. That's easy to do here at Las Vegas, a very fast track. Brett Wilson, he's still in the 7th spot, but Hunsucker coming quick. Only about 7 laps left in the stage. He's going to have to hold off Hunsucker. And that would be 4 points for Wilson, which would be a huge help in his championship chances.
6 laps to go until the stage ends. We've been green the whole way thus far. Currently Kyle Spees all the way up front, still leading this thing with Dustin Matson just about 5/10 of a second back. Christopher Lawrence starting to fall back from those two a little bit, 1.3 back, and Jeffrey Victory has kind of fallen back into the clutches of Kayla McCarthy and Kyle Gartner. And Kayla looking like she might get into the top 5 here before this, or get up to 4th before this stage is done.
Yeah, McCarthy up 12 positions. Hunsucker in 8th. He's up 15 spots. James Jones in 11th. And you see he's about caught the back of Cody Bullock, but James Jones up 14 spots. And Jones throwing the pressure on Bullock. Is that damage and those worn tires really having a negative effect? Did you see Shane Ledoux down in the pits? He's going to go a lap down.
I can't really think of any strategy play that would have been or whatever, and for that 12th car, he might just have to think about getting his faster pair and getting that car right so that he can make a run at this thing. Should be able to take the wave around if he's only 1 lap down, but certainly an adventurous day for him.
And this league, they use 65% fuel, so they may be close on fuel, but with only 4 laps to go, I'm not sure. They're the only ones who have pitted so far. Nobody up front yet to pit. With all these green flag laps, they're burning more fuel.
And the 18 of Cody Bullock sideways on the front stretch, almost looped it around, got in the side of the 94, coming off of turn 4. And Cody Bullock had to save it, but he's going to lose a lot of spots as he really had to get out of it to avoid hitting the wall there.
And Ledoux, actually, he's 2 laps down. And he's battling with the 19 to try and get a lucky dog, as they're the only 2 cars a lap down at all. But the 19 quite a bit ahead of him. Ledoux may have to try and take a wave around to get one of those laps back. But up front, Kyle Spees. Dustin Matson now trying to make a run at Kyle Spees. Only about 2/10 off the back. They're on the white flag lap.
The battle up front has closed up as Spees and Matson only separated by 2/10 of a second as they battle down the backstretch.
One sideways back there. That looked like the 24, McCarthy. She saves it, but she'll drop a spot. And off the corner, Spees and Matson, right side by side almost. Spees will win the stage. Matson second. Lawrence will come around third. Vickery in fourth. Gartner fifth. McCarthy sixth. And there is our stage caution.
And the 18 of Cody Bullock whipped around on the backstretch. Don't believe he hit anything, but might just take the faster pair anyway with the damage he had from hitting the wall earlier.
Brett Wilson, he'll come around and he'll get 7th spot on that stage. That'll be 4 bonus points for Wilson, so a total of 5 bonus points. Hunsucker, he'll finish 8th. Chris Reese 9th, and last week's winner, Garrett Fox, he'll come home at the end of the stage in the 10th position.
That 18 car had to be just praying for that stage to end as his car just got really bad on him, whether it was from the tires being worn out or from the contact with the wall. But the end of the stage just couldn't quite come soon enough as he whipped around the backstretch and lost a lot of positions as he enters pit road here 22nd. Don't believe he hit anything though.
They're all coming down to you, Jamie. It looks like everybody down the pit lane.
Oh, I was waiting for it. I am watching the 36 of Kyle Spees as he is about to enter his pit box. The last time they all pitted, I thought the 6 of Dustin Madsen was actually going to squeak by him and pull the lead out from underneath them, as they were really close to exiting pit road side by side.
Vickery, he slides to his pit box a little bit, had to back up.
I'm going to watch the end of it, and it looks like Kyle Spees, Dustin Madsen, and Christopher Lawrence are your first 3 off the track, with a 3-way battle out for the 4th spot. And it seems that the 18 of Cody Bullock, one of the playoff bubble drivers, has taken his faster pair and 4 fresh Goodyears as he exited out the pit lane behind the 99 car.
Yeah, brand new car for the 18. Hunsucker, he gained some spots there. He's up to 4th. Wilson as well as Vickery, he had to back up, and he loses a couple spots. Drops back to 6th. Chris Reese, he's up to 7th. Gartner Fox in 8th and 9th. And Chris Pendle, we haven't seen him for a while, but now he's back up into the top 10 for the first time in quite a while, since early in this race. We see the 94 back up in that top 10.
Yeah, I was watching Pendle at the end of that stage, and he was flying up through there, and I believe he might have even squeezed in and got a stage point there, but he was certainly flying on the equal tires as everyone around him, as everyone came down pit road as stage 1 ended. So he may have something to say about a top 5 run here before this is said and done.
Yeah, Chris Pendle, he's usually fast. Kind of an off night to not see him up in the top 10 much, but now he's back up there. We're going to see him driving through, I'm sure. So now we start watching for where these guys are on the track. We were watching for where they were at on the stage points. But Brett Wilson right now, he's up to 5th spot. And Stephen Ford in 12th. So with that difference of the stage, that, according to my math, which isn't very good, would put Brett Wilson in by a couple of points.
Yeah, so Brett Wilson has to beat the number 27 of Stephen Ford by 5 positions to get in. 4 would result in a tie and a tiebreaker, but 5 positions would get him in over the 27. But you have to remember the 12 of Steve Ledoux, he's only 2 points ahead of the 27 coming in, and he's still lapped down back in the 25th position right now. So he is on the outside in a major way right now, and it's going to take a major turnaround for him to get back into things.
Yeah, Cody Bullock, having not scored stage points in either of those stages, it's going to take, of course, Ledoux's not having a good night. Ledoux still 2 laps down in 25th, so if Ledoux, if he drops out, it may be between Ford and Wilson may get in. and Ledoux may be the one that's going to drop out here.
Yeah. Cody Bullock is very unlikely right now. It'd take a lot for him to get in. He'd have to beat the 27 of Stephen Ford by 15 positions and Brett Wilson by 10. So unless he just charges right up to the front, and some of these other guys, and you know, Wilson and Ford both have trouble, it's going to be hard for him to get in. But looking very good for Brett Wilson right now, and Stephen Ford looking pretty safe.
And still your leader after 75 laps and hasn't given it up for even a lap. That's Kyle Spies. And as we come down to another restart, which we've only had, it's only our 5th restart. Kyle Spies going to take the green, and now Lawrence, he's going to jump right to the inside of Matson for the 2nd spot. Spies may have lifted a little bit there as the 9 and the 6 both catch right up to the back of Spies. Matson going to have a run off the corner. Now he's up to the outside. Not sure what happened to Spies there, but was slow through 1 and 2 and off the front stretch. But now through 3 and 4 powers through.
I'm sorry about that, but Brett Wilson was sideways on the front stretch. Now the 62 and 85 get into it. Big wreck on the front stretch. At least 10 cars involved.
And they're still wrecking. You know, you said Brett Wilson got sideways, but that may have been his saving grace as everyone goes sideways as well, and he drives right through the middle without any damage. Great job by Brett Wilson. Let's take a rewind to see what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Brett Wilson got saved by getting loose off of the corner right there. I think that kind of might have caused it, actually, as the cars behind him try to avoid him.
Yeah, the 62, I think he may have gone up thinking that the 10 was going to come back up the track. Let's take a look from the 62. He sees the 10 go sideways. Yeah, he sees that smoke, and he moves up and goes right into the side of the 49. And he goes around sideways. No, he actually saved it. It's the... Well, he went on down, and the 85 hits the side of the 62. And the 10 going slow, but the 13 and the 11 right next to him, they get involved as well. And the 10 right in the middle of all that madness. And he'll scoot through. And that looked like Cody Bullock involved.
I think we need to go. I think we need to go on board with Brett Wilson there, because he drove right through that mess.
Yeah, Cody Bullock, big damage. And he had just taken his fast repair. Jamie had reported that he had just taken his fast repair. And you see Simon Grills flipping. But big damage for Cody Bullock.
Yeah,
let's take a ride.
Oops, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Just breaking news. I'm seeing in the race chat that the 18 of Cody Bullock has been disqualified.
Well, Cody Bullock, that's going to end his championship hopes. I believe they have an incident limit. We're going to take a ride along with Brett Wilson. May have gone back a little too far. He was down in the bottom of 3 and 4. Gets sideways. Tries to save it. Gets down on the apron and checked way up. And then all these cars go sliding around. And you can't see in his rear view, but he sees the 11 sliding around right beside him. And he drives right through the middle of that without getting any damage. So great job by Brett Wilson.
Yeah, that didn't look too bad for him as on board, but man, I bet in the car with what he could see in his rearview mirror, he was freaking out.
Oh yeah. But through that wreck, I think we need to go back and maybe look at Stephen Ford. because Stephen Ford currently sits 6th. He drove right around that wreck.
Steven was able to avoid that, and that might have been his clinching moment into this playoff berth. And Brett Wilson also looking pretty good on getting in. I don't believe that Shane LeDuc got the lucky dog, as he is still being shown a lap down. Oh, that must have been what, that was after
Yeah, I'm
the
not
wreck,
sure.
wasn't it?
Somebody drove through the middle there. The 41 was coming up through the middle, and the 16.
Yeah, that was very interesting right there.
That may have given him a disqualification. Trying to go back and see this. There we go. That's what I was wanting to see. We're about to go green, but we watched the 27. This may be the one we want to watch, the in-car camera. You see the 10 up on the left. He gets sideways. The 27, he was back in the back. 2 cars on the outside, they get involved. 2 are sideways, and he drives right around all those cars.
I just followed the 94 right through there. Definitely a great move there by Stephen Ford.
And that move actually puts him back into playoffs. But with Shane LeDuc back there in 20th, I think he may be the odd man out, as both Wilson and Ford are having decent nights.
Yeah, it's going to take Shane LeDuc getting the lucky dog and driving back up and catching Stephen Ford if he wants to get into the playoffs here. So we'll keep an eye on that, but we're coming to green here with just over 60 laps to go. I believe it'll be 59 at the line.
Watching the blimp cam, you see Kyle Spees takes off the top 3 all out with a good jump. The 6 and the 9 side by side for second. That's been the battle all night long, has been for second. I'm not sure anybody's got anything for the 36.
Yeah, right at the end of stage 2, we saw the 6 car get to his back bumper, but he wasn't actually able to pass him. Catching him and passing him are 2 totally different things, but certainly that battle up front is going to continue out throughout this race between the 6 and the 9, and whichever one of them can prevail maybe gets the upper hand and maybe can catch Kyle Spees. Believe I saw a car spin down through the grass and onto pit road, but it's just kind of out of the corner of my eye.
Currently, we're watching Kayla McCarthy. She was involved in that last incident. Must not have had a faster pair. I believe she had already used it early. And she's got quite a bit of damage. She's dropping back now in 19th spot.
Yeah, that car's certainly not driving correct for her. That big wreck certainly changed the landscape of how this race is going to go. Currently, the 12 of Shane LeDuc does sit in the lucky dog spot, so he's definitely out there hoping for a caution right now. He just passed Caleb McCarthy for the lucky dog, so if a caution were to come out, he would get his lap back and have a shot at catching Stephen Ford.
Yeah, Shane LeDuc, he needs a caution and a faster pair. He's, to my knowledge, still has his faster pairs. He's had that damage since pretty close to the beginning of the race. So Shane LeDuc in the position to get his lap back. And I'm sure he's back there praying to see the yellow flag wave. And Matson there at the end of that stage had run down Spees, just needed maybe 3 or 4 more laps to try and get around Spees, but right now feeling the pressure from Lawrence for the second position. I would say that Matson could see the 9 of Lawrence smiling from his rearview mirror. That's how close he is. .94 in the outside wall. Just a little tag. The 20 of Mike Robinson. He'll now go to the bottom for the 6th spot. Wilson's gotten back around Stephen Ford. They're running 8th and 9th. I think Ford's just, at this point, got to take care of his car so long as Shane Ledoux is a lap down. Garrett Fox, he's the last one on lead lap. He's coming down pit road.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be hard for you to not lose 2 laps here, especially if you weren't running all the way up front. He doesn't seem to have any damage, so maybe this is just a pit strategy, trying to pit a little bit early, as I'm sure we're going to everyone's going to have to make green flag stops if we don't get a caution. But sitting there for quite a while, so it may have been more than that.
May have been. He's sitting there for a good little bit after taking tires. Looks like he may go 2 laps down. Actually, it looks like he may have logged out.
But that does bring up the question of when do you pit. So we went back racing with, I believe, 60 laps to go in this one. And you can cut that in half, meaning you come down about lap 110. And that would be the most efficient way to do it, as you don't extend those tires out at all. But I'm thinking these guys can probably go about 40 laps on fuel. So if do you do the extra 10 laps, or do you come in maybe a little bit earlier than lap 110?
I think if you're back in the pack, you want to pit as soon as you can make it, to maybe get that short pit, get advantage on the tires. But I called a race here last week, and a car that stayed out 20 laps longer than everybody else came out back 14 seconds behind the leader and drove all the way up and took the lead. So you may want to stay out as long as you can. That may be the play, to have the fresher tires at the end. Just depends on how much time they're going to have after they pit.
If I'm Brett Wilson or Stephen Ford, I'm currently in the playoffs. I don't have a lot of pressure from behind. I personally am waiting until everybody else makes their pit stop so that I don't get caught a lap down.
Yeah, that would be the smart play for both Wilson and Ford.
Christopher Reese has gotten around Shane Ledoux for the free pass spot, but Ledoux only sitting in the 17th spot, and Kyle Gartner about to lose a lap here in the next few laps, as he's 23 seconds behind the leader with some damage. So Ledoux looking like it's going to be harder for him to get that lap back. But he's only in 17th, so if one of those guys make a mistake, that he could point his way in for sure.
Yeah, Gartner, he's not quite, about a half a straightaway ahead of the 36 right now. Speed still about 6.5 tenths over the second place of Dustin Matson. Lawrence still there in third. Hunsucker starting to put the pressure on in fourth, and Jeffrey Vickery in fifth. So we've got a tight battle for second spot right now between 4 drivers.
Yeah, that is definitely the battle on the racetrack. Is the entire top 5 is only separated by 1.3 seconds, and even the top 10 is all still within 5 seconds, but it gets kind of spaced out after that, and a lot of guys with damage that weren't able to recover after that big wreck. And we do have a yellow flag. I'm not seeing anything on the racetrack, but
I'm hearing it's for the number 20. Looks like he gets into the outside wall, goes around, slides. Oh, crams the inside wall hard. And he quickly towed.
it's Mike Robinson in the 20. He was running in the 13th spot when he wrecked, so on the lead lap. So there's I'm not sure if he has another fast repair or not.
And he really nails this inside wall. All four tires off the ground. Tried his best to tow before a caution come out, but didn't get it.
That's always a classic question of, do I spin it out or do I try to save it? Because trying to save it sometimes will result in that. But we have all our leaders coming down pit road with 43 laps left. This could be their last pit stop.
Yeah, Kyle Spees, Dustin Matson, Lawrence Vickery all in. See Spees slide into his stall. The 21 of Vickery once again goes too far, has to back up. Anderson, he was up there earlier. He hasn't really been able to make his way back through the field after those two big slides. Speed's going to be the first off pit lane. It's going to be a drag race between the 6 and the 9, but Matson gets it. The 69 out. The 7's going to come off right behind Vickery after Vickery a little slow after he slid through his pits for the second time tonight, but Vickery is going to come off 7th. And Anderson off 8th, but Brett Wilson and Stephen Ford, they're going to come off 5th and 6th.
'27 of Ford right there in front of Vickery. That definitely cost him about 3 spots sliding through the box like that, and that's one of the hardest things to learn in iRacing is how to get into your pit box correctly. It is so slick down there when you hit those brakes, and I've slid through my box so many times I can't even count, but you finally learn how to do it, and it feels good, but it's frustrating until then.
Yeah, and especially, on some of these older tires had a good green flag run going, and those worn tires, you come in and you just think they're going to stop, and especially when you've later on in the race, you don't do it too bad, but early in the race, after you've been through practice and you go out there and you run 5-10 lap runs, and then you come in and it stops and it stops and it stops, and then you get out there on a 20, 30, 40 lap run, and then you come in a pit and all of a sudden it doesn't want to stop the same way.
So a little bit of breaking news here. Shane Ledoux is currently in front of your leader, and he will take the wave around. But he will not be able to pit for the fast repair, so he may need another caution to take that fast repair and get back into things. But he is going to get back on the lead lap.
Well, that in itself is a big deal for Shane Ledoux. He was almost in the free pass position, but with that damage, just couldn't quite hold it. He'll come around to take the wave around, be back on the tail end of the lead lap. Looks like there's currently 17 cars on the lead lap, including Ledoux and Malcolm, who are about to take wave rounds. Want to see if they go around this lap or...
Yep, looks
will
like
be this lap.
Yep, they head around the pace car now, and they'll catch up to the back of the field.
And the 41 just went right around these guys, so not sure if that's allowed. I think you'll have to let them back around once they get to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, he may catch a black flag if he doesn't let those guys catch back up.
So to break down the point situation, you know, Ledoux, he was 2 points over Ford. Ford now only 4 points over Wilson. So 6 points separating Ledoux, Ford, and Wilson, all three. Ledoux having a bad night. Both Wilson and Ford up there near the front. So Ledoux got his work cut out for him as we get ready to go green one more time. The green flag for Kyle Spees. He leads it off. Matson and Lawrence already side by side. And Hunsucker, he has been biting at the bit to get around these two. He's been just sitting right there, less than a car length most of the time behind both these cars. And Lawrence will clear Matson. Now Matson fighting back on the outside. Through 1 and 2, that may be the preferred lane. Six going to get a good run off the corner. And a big run. Now one sideways back there. That's victory.
27 but a little bit squirrely too there, and both the 27 and the 21 end up going down the track. But they both hold on to it, and one thing to keep an eye on as we near the end of this thing, just under 40 laps left to go, is they pit it with 43 to go, and that's going to be right on the edge of that fuel window, I believe. So it may be close, and some of these guys may have to save a little fuel to make it.
And Vickery trying to fight his way back up already, now to the inside of the 94. Chris Pendle. Looks like they may try and split the 19. 19 been 3 wide a few times tonight. Vickery trying to get 2 in 1 lap. This for the nice spot. He gets loose again, now down on the apron. And he'll save it, but that's going to lose him a lot of time. He'll drop back to 11th.
That's a very common thing here at Las Vegas. That bottom is rough, and if your car isn't handling just perfect, it's hard to run right on that white line.
Second, third, and fourth all right together as Wilson about touches the outside wall. You see Josh Anderson is finally, after those 2 big slides earlier, sliding all the way back to last place, 26th. Josh Anderson now makes his way back into the top 5, trying to be a factor once again. Got a 2nd place finish last week at Nashville. Looking to try and get back into the top 5 or top 3 again.
Had a little bit of a slide there for Brent Hunsucker in the 4th position, but able to gather it up nicely and not going to lose any positions, but does lose a little bit of ground to 2nd and 3rd. It may take the 6 and the 9 teaming up a little bit in drafting to get up to the back bumper of the 36 and make a pass. See if they'd be willing to work together a little bit to maybe dethrone the 36.
And to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Kyle Spees so far has led every single lap. Nobody really been able to challenge Spees. You know, in these pre-race interviews, you interview the pole sitter, and I always like to kind of say, well, how can you lead all the laps? And I wish I would have said that today, because Spees looks like he may well just do that.
Yeah, and he said in his interview that he wasn't trying to win this thing, but he could have fooled me. He's been a dominant car out in front and just kind of riding around. Hasn't had a whole lot of pressure besides little moments here and there, but pretty much running the race that he wanted to maintain that first overall spot in the points.
Yeah, absolutely. out there, still with a 0.3 of a second lead. And the 6 was able to get to his bumper right there towards the end of the stage, run out of time. So a big long green flag run runs. If we run all the way to the end of a fuel run, then the 6 may have something for the 36. But 35 laps certainly isn't enough to get it done, or it hasn't been so far.
The 6 car, the only one that I've seen that's been able to hold on to his back bumper, and the 9 car seems like he has a lot of speed. The car's handling well, but he just can't quite pull up to those front 2 to make a move. But Josh Anderson in that 7 car is back up to 4th, and he is still marching his way forward and onto the back bumper of the 9 car for 3rd now. So maybe he'll have something to say about who wins this race.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the season, Anderson's someone I called a dark horse that might make it into the playoffs. And he has, over the last 6 or 7 weeks, well, the last 3 or 4 weeks, has really proven to be a contender. Several good finishes. Like I said, last week come home 2nd spot. And he may be a factor that we hadn't thought of as we go through the playoffs and we start eliminating some of these drivers. Anderson may be one to watch.
Just under 30 laps now remaining, and just to create that little bit of drama, Stephen Ford running 10th right now, but he seems like he's off the pace a little bit. Now, Shane Ledoux is back in 17th, the last car on the lead lap, but if Ford were to drop back, and he has a couple of cars within a couple of seconds of him, if he were to drop back to the 13th position, which is feasible, he could, Shane Ledoux would just have to get around the 99 car to then be tied with him in points.
Yeah, Ledoux still hoping for a caution as Ledoux right now. He's heading through turn 1, and Kyle Speed's off of turn 4. And Ledoux with that damage, he's slow, hoping to get a caution and take that faster pair, but can't go another lap down. I mean, Speeds has been fast, and he's out there, but the top 6 are right there behind him.
Yeah, the top 6 within 1.5 seconds of each other, and the top 4 within a second of each other. So that 7 car has been kind of aggressive on the back bumper of the 9 here, and he's kind of pushing him back up into contention with the 36 and the 6.
Yeah, going around that lap car, looks like Matson and Lawrence may have pulled up a little bit. Now only 0.3 behind Spees. We saw earlier the 6 was a little bit better on the longer run as we get down to 25 to go at Las Vegas.
Four car going to get up and out of the way there and do the right thing to let all these leaders get by. 7 car must have had a little bit of a moment because he's fallen back off of these top 3 now, but still in contention.
Yeah, he may have burned those tires up driving up through the field. Went from 7th to 4th after that restart. Wilson, he's holding strong in the 6th spot. And currently, he's going to make the playoffs, barring some sort of something happening. Stephen Ford, he just pitted.
Yeah, so these guys must not be able to make it on fuel as Stephen Ford and Shane Ledoux both pit, and currently they're running in the 16th and 17th spots. Now Shane Ledoux is down 2 laps, while Ford is only down 1, but Ford not the lucky dog, so if a caution were to fall right now, it would make things very interesting for Stephen Ford. He needs this pit cycle to even out and for everyone else to come to pit road.
Yeah, I think Ford at this point is just racing Shane Ledoux. I think Wilson to Ford, he thinks that Wilson is pretty much a lock in, and now Ford has just got to beat Ledoux. So Ledoux comes into pit, and then Ford comes in a lap or two later, trying to negate the advantage on the tires. And Ledoux about a half a lap behind the 27 of Stephen Ford.
Did get his fast repair, but Ledoux down an extra lap than Stephen Ford right now, so leader might be in between those two on the racetrack, but currently as they run right now, Shane Ledoux would make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're only separated by one position on track right now. But there's a big gap between Ford and Ledoux. So we've got several cars coming down the pit lane. Matson in, Anderson in, Brett Wilson, Pendle, Vickery, and James Jones all in the pit lane.
So all these guys electing to split these final 40 laps in half as we have 20 to go. We went back green with 43 to go, so almost right at the halfway point, and this is very welcome to Stephen Ford here as he looks to get back on the lead lap.
The top three all in that time. Now Kyle Gartner, he's going to inherit the lead. He's going to run a few more laps. Gartner, Reese, and Arbel, the only three that have not pitted yet.
And maybe these three stay out for a little while because we know they can run 30 laps under green, so they could go inside 10 to go. So maybe they stay out for a little while, try to catch a lot of these guys a lap down and get a good finish out of it. Gartner, I don't think had any opportunity to win this race otherwise, so maybe he tries to pull a strategy move here.
Now, Vernon Reese, also one who has stayed out. He's currently in fourth. Gartner stayed out another lap. All of our top four did. We'll have to see how much fuel these guys have left as they go around the number 4 car. Matson, Spies, and Hunsucker have all unlapped themselves as Lawrence now working to the inside of the 49, trying to get his lap back, and he will as they go down into turn 1 with just 17 laps to go.
Currently, the 6 car in front of the 36 as they run on the racetrack, so he able to get around him on that pit cycle, and if the caution were to fly right now, we would have 3 cars on the lead lap that had already pitted, but the 9, the 94, and the 7 right behind your leader trying to get that lap back.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. That was a big deal for Matson to come off the pit lane ahead, but he's not going to be able to hold it. These guys racing each other hard. The 36 dives to the inside. The 6 tries to pin him down, but can't do it as Spies powers his way around the 6 for the 5th position. But the top 4 are yet to pit, so that will be for the lead once the top 4 take those tires and fuel.
Yeah, I believe the 36 with 1 lap fresher tires. Probably not going to make a huge difference, but he's been so strong on the short run, making it pay off again for him there. But 15 laps to go, maybe the 6 can mount a charge back at him.
You have to wonder how much fuel is left in these top 4 gas tank. The 49 of Gartner, he stays out yet another time. Don't know if he can make it 14 more laps. I believe everybody kind of pitted at the same time. So surprised to see him still out there. There goes Jason Arbel now down the pit lane.
These
He'll come
top
to a
3 can get to about 5 to go, maybe 8 to go in that range. Don't think they can get to the end, but they're trying to catch some of these guys a lap down and get a top 10 finish.
The 86 did take tires. You hear the 49, he's clutching it. So he's trying to make it. Let's take a look inside Kyle Gartner's car. Let's see. You see the RPMs dropping to 2,000. He's pushing that clutch in, going into the corner, trying to save as much as he can. So we'll have to see if Gartner, if he can save enough to make it to the end. Now only 12 laps to go.
He has 21 seconds to work with, so if he could possibly make it, he has the gap to possibly hold off Kyle Spies, and I bet he's going to use every one of those 21 seconds to try to save as much fuel as possible. Christopher and Vernon Reese in second and third still haven't pitted either, but Vernon about to get caught by Kyle Spies. He's only 3 seconds behind the 99 right now. So strategy probably not going to work for him in any sort of race-winning way, but those top three looking like they're going to try to make it all the way to the end, 43 laps.
This may be a strategy that gets them top 10s where they wouldn't have gotten them before. We've got Stephen Ford now. He's up 5 positions over Ledoux. That's going to put Ledoux out and Ford in the playoffs. Ledoux trying to make some spots up, but he's got the oldest tires. Arbel in between him. He just pitted for tires. So Shane Ledoux once again needing a caution.
Well, he did get that faster pair, and you know he's certainly going to be faster on the racetrack. You are right in that Arbel did just get fresh tires, but if Arbel could go up and pass Ford on those brand new fresh tires in the next 10 laps, Ledoux would have to get around James Jones and Shane Tierney to, or just James Jones, excuse me, to get tied with Stephen Ford in the points.
Speed's now only 16 seconds out. Not sure that he would catch him. If Gartner can make it to the end, he'd have to catch over almost 2 seconds a lap. Reese, he's doing his best to save. He's dropped 9 seconds behind Gartner. He may be saving quite a bit more fuel than the 49. So he may make it, but we'll have to see if Spies catches Reese before this race is over with. You hear him as well, clutching it into the corner, all the way through the corner.
Christopher Lawrence and Josh Anderson able to get around the 6 of Dustin Matson, so not exactly sure what happened there, but Christopher Lawrence 3 seconds behind Kyle Spies now. And Kyle Spies is 15 seconds behind your race leader with 7 to go. Can Kyle Gartner steal the win from Kyle Spies here?
Vernon Reese, he comes down with 7 to go as there was cars beginning to pass him. But we're on board with Reese, and he is clutching quite a bit. Staying right about 9 seconds with Gartner. So we know Gartner, he's saving about the same amount as Reese, but Reese may have been saving quite a bit longer as he's 9 seconds back. But Speed's only 3 seconds now behind Reese.
I think Christopher Reese is going to get caught by Kyle Spies here, as he's only 2 or 3 seconds ahead of him now. So I think Kyle Spies is going to catch Christopher Reese, but Reese may still be able to get a top 5 out of it. But with an 11-second gap and 6 laps to go, I don't think Spies is going to catch Gartner if he can have enough fuel to get to the end.
He's on pace, or close to it. It's now 10 seconds back. He's been catching him almost 2 seconds a lap. He's going to catch Reese very quickly.
Shane Ledoux is currently working alongside the 13 of James Jones right now, so making it interesting back there, trying to fight his way into the playoffs.
That pass right there will tie Ledoux and Ford. And I'm not real sure. Actually, no, Arbel and Tierney. So Arbel going to have to get up there and try to get around Ford. Or Tierney. Only 1 point separates Ford and Ledoux. And Reese in the pit lane as well as Kyle Gartner. They go 4 laps short. Gartner looks like he took a quick fuel and go. Chris Reese now out. That'll give Kyle Spees the lead. He comes around all the way back around to lap both Reese and Kyle Gartner.
So now with 3 laps to go, Kyle Spees out front by 4 seconds over Christopher Lawrence. Josh Anderson currently sitting in third, about 5 seconds back. Dustin Matson really fell off the pace on this run. Not exactly, he might have got the wall or something with that number 6 car. He was fast all day. Brett Wilson looking like he's going to make the playoffs in the 5th position. And currently, Shane Ledoux 1 point out of a playoff spot right now.
Okay, wreck 41. I don't know. He may have just instantly disconnected. He hit the outside wall. I think he may have, what is it, Alt F4?
May have just saved Chris Stephen Ford's playoff chances there.
Yeah, he may have. I thought for sure we were going to get a caution. But 36, he takes the white flag, so we're not going to have any cautions between now and the checkered flag. Speed's going to come around.
Speed's dominant for most of this race coming through turn 4.
He's led most of the race. Kyle Speed's off turn 4 and across the line. Kyle Speed's going to be your winner at Las Vegas. Right behind Christopher Lawrence in second. Josh Anderson with back-to-back top 3s. Matson going to come home 4th. Brett Wilson, that should lock up a playoff spot. Shane Ledoux, he ends up in 9th position. And with Gartner and Reese running out of gas and having to pit, they end up between Ford and Ledoux. So that means that Ledoux most likely out and Stephen Ford going to make it.
Yeah, that was Ford in the 9th position, and he, by all appearances, looks like he did make it along with Brett Wilson, and Shane Ledoux is going to miss out on the playoffs.
Yes, by our unofficial results. And there is the 36 doing a burnout. Well deserved, as he had so many laps in this race.
This race had just about everything you could have hoped for. It had fuel strategy, it had long green flag runs, it had some shorter little stints in which you could see, you know, the disparity between the long run and the short run. And the 36 blows his engine doing his burnout. But just an awesome race all the way around. Always love Vegas and always love the racing that it produces. Multiple lanes to run in here. You can run side by side with no problem. And these guys put on one heck of a show here today.
Yeah, they did. And Josh Anderson, he comes away with back-to-back top 3s. Going to make the playoffs, and maybe someone to watch going forward as he's into this season on a very strong note. Now let's see if we can get a word with Josh Anderson, the number 7. Hey Josh, this is Dakota and Kyle in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey man, you were fast all race long, but you had a lap there where you slid around twice, dropped all the way to last, but you drive all the way back through the field and get a top 3, and that's a back-to-back top 3. So great job, Josh. How did it look out there?
It looked, I love this track, and I was hoping you didn't see me back all the way to the back. but
we got to watch you when you go back there. It's more impressive to see the run to the front.
Shoot, I didn't want it, man. I tell you what, if you want to call it, I always make fun of the emotional roller coaster, and that's exactly what this track was. But man, I guarantee you, my teammates, Bud, James, Mike and Dustin, all them. We opened up a practice session yesterday, and we ran 150 laps, and that's all we did. I practiced on long runs, pitting in, and my Q lap. And man, I didn't win, but we got somebody on the front that is extremely fast. I enjoyed every second of it.
Well, you started the season a little bit slow, and as you go through the year, you keep getting better and better, and you end the regular season with 2 straight top 3s. What's it going to take to advance through these playoffs and maybe find yourself in that championship 4?
I'm going to have to beat either one of these 2 front guys. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Kayla, she's always fast. I don't know what happened to her today, but it's just we got to stay up with these front guys, and I'm hoping I can do it for the next few races and be there at the end.
Well, you've been very good the last few races, very, very fast. Do you have anybody you'd like to thank, Josh?
Like I said, I do Kool-Aid Monster Motorsports, man, and I appreciate every minute of it. It's a lot of fun. And you too, man. Great broadcast. Thank you.
All right. Well, good luck going forward, Josh. We hope to see you advance through these playoffs.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll take a interview here and ask Christopher Lawrence a few questions. Hey, Christopher, this is Dakota and Kyle in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Good to see you back in the top 3. And as we go forward, looks like you were very fast all race long, and you come home in 2nd spot.
Yeah, it was a tough race today. It came down at the end there. We were a little worried about the fuel strategy. We kind of realized we weren't going to make it early, and we're just trying to figure out, do we stay out or do we go in? And, luckily myself and Spees, we went in a little early there, got some tires and came back out, and I was able to catch up with everybody. I think this year went great. All these guys and girls that showed up today to race with us, week in, week out. It's been a blast. A lot of them we've raced with for a couple seasons. Some of the new drivers. So I have to say, I really feel like it's been a great season this year. We had a lot of fun running together. Highly competitive. A lot of the guys were competing week in, week out. So yeah, I definitely think it was a good season this year. Yes, sir. We got a 5-week playoff, and every 2 weeks, like you said, we cut it down in half. So it's going to be hard racing in a short period of time, trying to everybody get down to the top 4. So I think it's going to be exciting, and hopefully everybody tunes in to catch the end of the year.
Yeah, and Chris, I've raced against you a few times. You're very fast, so I expect you to make it all the way to that championship 4. You, Spees, Matson, and maybe a wild card there in the 4th spot.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of guys up here in the top 16 that have a chance. So again, it's a lot of tough competition. It's going to be a good end of the year. So I'm looking forward to racing these guys to the end and seeing who comes out on top.
All right, you got anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my team, Filthy Five. Without them today, with that pitch strategy, Caleb McCarthy, Kyle Spees, Stephen Ford, awesome, you guys. I want to thank my dad for supporting and watching the broadcast, and obviously I want to thank you for a great broadcast, Dakota. Thank you so much.
Well, hopefully we will see you back here next week, and we'll be at Phoenix next week. So, are you any good at Phoenix?
Phoenix is one of my favorite tracks, so it's up there in my top 5. So I'm hoping that we can keep the run that we had today and go into next week. Hopefully we can keep that going into Phoenix.
All right. Well, good luck going forward as you start the playoffs, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now our winner, Kyle Spees. It looks like our session logged out. Kyle Spees. Hey, Kyle, this is Dakota and Kyle in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you were fast all race long. At one point, I thought you were going to lead every single lap from start to finish, but I think green flag pit stops was the only thing that could take that away from you. It's a very fast. How'd it look out there not seeing anybody else?
I mean, the less people you see, the better it is in my eyes. All that clean air I had just keeps me out front as much as I could tonight.
Yeah, we talked to you when you qualified on pole and said you wasn't trying to win, but if that was you not trying, I'd like to see what's going to be coming in the playoffs.
I mean, the plan definitely wasn't to stay out front, but the more and more we got into the race, it just seemed my car seemed to keep up and stay out front there. Matson came in there hot on that second stage. I thought he was going to get me. Other than that, like you said, I thought for sure I was going to lead all the laps tonight, and it wasn't in my head. And then I saw we weren't going to make it in gas. So the green flag pit stops definitely killed that. But luckily, me and Lawrence were in the chat together, pitted together, worked out together, and got first and second tonight.
Well, Kyle, you came out behind the 6 car there in that last pit stop. Did have you worried at all, or did you know you had the speed to get back around him?
When he went in first, I was a little worried, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure what his pit strategy was going to be as well. My pit strategy, as well as Lawrence's, we went in there and just picked up about 3.4 in the tank, but we also picked up right side tires. So with the right side tires, that's what made us go out and just floor it. And just the way it looked when we passed the 6 car, I don't think he did take tires on that last pit stop. So I'm not sure. But I think that the right sides for me and him, me and Lawrence definitely benefited to get us back out in front of the 6 car tonight.
Yeah, you were very fast on that last run and drove around a couple of those guys that still hadn't even pitted yet. So do you have anybody you'd like to thank, Kyle?
Absolutely. Always shout out to my mom and grandma. They always watch, probably commented on your stream. Shout out to my family and my girlfriend that sits here and watches the stream as well. Shout out to my sponsors with Black 8 Motorsports and SRN, and as well as my team tonight. Shout out to Lawrence for getting second, and everyone else that finished pretty good for my team. And just last shout out to you guys. Always appreciate you guys doing the broadcast and doing it for us. So it's awesome.
Well, thank you. And we start the playoffs next week, and we expect to see you in that championship 4 at the end.
I hope so.
All right. Have a good one, man.
You too. Thank you.
And that was Kyle Spees, our race winner. So, Kyle, great race all around. A lot of, pit strategy come down to the end, and a couple of guys were just 4 laps short. What were your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, like you said, a very competitive race. Had that group up front for most of the way. Kyle kind of dominated, but you had that, storyline for second and, second through fourth, and who maybe got up there to contend, and then you had the storyline for who was going to make the playoffs, which was entertaining to watch the whole time. And these guys put on a really good show and race hard, and we're clean this week. So I look forward to doing more of these with you and seeing how these playoffs develop.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward. 2 races, and then 8 drivers are going to be cut. So that's going to be interesting after Phoenix and Auto Club. And then for the top 8, we'll go on to Charlotte and Indianapolis. And then we'll cut 4 more, and then we'll be down to the championship, and it's going to be at Legacy, Texas. So that's going to be a wild ride, Legacy, Texas in the championship 4. So as we go forward, appreciate you, Kyle, for hopping on and watching these races with us. You've done a great job. And as we go forward, appreciate you, and we'll continue to have a good time through the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and it's a lot of fun, and look forward to doing more.
All right, well, good night, Kyle, and we will be back next week, and actually we'll be back Sunday night for the Southern Excitement Racing League, and next Wednesday back for the Rebel Racing League starting their playoffs. So we will see you then.
All right, thank you.